Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is all about writing, which is what I've been doing here in Thailand the most. I've been using mostly my Moleskine journal. We've already talked about this before, but this is the expanded version, and I've been taking this everywhere. I find that this notebook holds up pretty well. I wish the paper was better quality, but it does the job. It's quite thick, so sometimes it is hard to take around, but I honestly love it. I love the look of it. And I also have my little Midori, which I take around more just because it's tiny and I feel like I can just write whatever comes to my mind. But apart from writing, what I've been doing here the most is reading. And I have made a video about what I've been reading, but these are the books. I'm focusing on Hermann Hesse this trip. And if you know anything about Hermann Hesse, is that he's obsessed with Asia. And I was a bit skeptical reading him because of that. But honestly, these two books have changed my opinion of him. The first one is a non-fiction book. It's Singapore Dreams and Other Adventures, travel writings from an Asian journey. And it was actually this Asian journey that inspired him to write Siddhartha, which is one of his most famous books. As someone who's trying to write, as I will get into in this video, trying to write my travels, and this is such a huge inspiration for me. Honestly, I think after this trip, Hermann Hesse might just be one of my favorite authors. And then I'm currently reading Demian. Honestly, just the prologue of this book would make you want to read him. It is incredible. I haven't finished this yet, but I'm currently reading it and I finished the other one. And apart from that, what have I been doing? Also, more, I guess, analog hobbies. This is word search. I am not good at Sudoku and I don't like crosswords, so word search. It is pretty easy, but it keeps you off your phone, which is great. Love doing this at the beach. And what else? I've been taking some pretty cool Polaroids. I do have to say, it is harder than what I thought. And they're not the best Polaroids you're ever going to see, but I'm pretty proud of them. So it's been good just practicing my hobbies without so many distractions and being in such a beautiful place. I have honestly been so immersed in writing that I've kind of caught a glimpse of what my dream life could look like. And all I can imagine is full presence, introspection, and the gentle act of memory keeping through writing, but also through photography. I've been documenting my experience here through writing mostly, and not through YouTube vlogs, just because I just don't think I am the type of video travel vlogger style. I've been, for example, using my camera almost every day, capturing small moments, small ordinary moments that I just don't want to lose to my phone. And honestly, the amount of writing and photography that I've been doing, it just makes me think that maybe I am scared of forgetting my existence, because recording my own life feels like what I am supposed to be doing at all times. And I just really love documenting how what I'm seeing changes me, how the people that I'm observing shifts something in me, and how my thoughts evolve as I move through the world. And I just think it's one of the best things that you can do is to record your own life, no matter how ordinary, simple you might think it is. Everyone's life is worth documenting. And that is something actually that Hermann Hesse talks about in his prologue of this book. I usually kind of skip prologues of books, but I'm glad I didn't of this one, because, yeah, he talks about how every man's life is special, and sometimes we just need a reminder of it, that you don't need to be a famous person to feel like you have to document your own life. Someone actually commented in my previous video what the purpose actually is of documenting my life, like after I'm dead, like who's gonna keep that? I don't know. Honestly, that comment really did make me think what the reason would be, but I don't think there needs to be a reason other than documenting your own existence. I also read something on Substack about how you should stop asking permission to be who you want to be who you already are. So, for example, in, I guess, real life, nothing or anyone is really stopping me from calling myself a writer, a photographer, or whatever. Like, I write every single day. I've been writing for almost 10 years in journals. The fact that I can look at what I was doing, feeling, observing a random Thursday 5 years ago, I think is such a luxury. So I've been writing since I've ever had a consciousness to be aware of my surroundings. So why not call myself a writer? Why do I need to be a published writer to call myself a writer? So yeah, why do I hesitate to claim who I am? Yeah, I saw this post on Substack that was asking that question, and that made me really, really think. Like, yeah, like I can have a full-time job and still call myself a writer, because that's what I do every single day. So yeah, let this be your sign. If you want to be a writer, you just need to write. You need a notebook. You don't need a Moleskine notebook. You don't need a Midori notebook. You don't need a Louise Carmen notebook. You don't need a specific notebook. You just need paper, ink, and just write. And there you go. You're a writer. If you want to take photos, just take photos. And you can be a photographer. Like, no one needs to make this your job in order for you to claim that you are a photographer or a writer. If you want to be known for something, if you want people to know you for being something, then you have to fully embody it. And I think having no distractions during this trip and focusing on what really matters to me has really helped me to embrace that for myself. I also think that when we say, oh, yeah, I take photos or I write, but it's just a hobby, we kind of purposefully downplay it so that we're not seen as someone that is trying. And it's okay to be a beginner at anything. It's okay to, not be the best at writing or taking photographs. I think it's the fear of being seen trying that stops us from claiming to say what we are or who we are. Saying that, oh, it's just a hobby, it's kind of in a way downplaying the things that feel most essential to my life. And I don't want to do that anymore. I think when you fully lean into who you are supposed to be or be doing, you can fully embody it. And suddenly one day it just becomes easier to say, I'm a creative, I'm a writer, I'm a photographer, I'm whatever, instead of overthinking what are people going to think or expect of me. However, I am honestly fully aware that this is harder when you go back to, I guess, real life after a trip, that it's harder to say this. So yeah, what am I writing here in beautiful Koh Phi Phi, Thailand? Am I writing a book? maybe. Maybe I'm just writing, some Substack, some essays that I might post. It doesn't matter. I honestly, yeah, I just don't really think about it. I'm just writing. I usually do morning pages for my personal journaling page, and then I choose topics that I want to actually delve deeper into and write with the purpose of sharing. Just overall, I'm just writing everything and anything that comes to my mind and that I observe and want to keep a memory of. Writing, even with photography, I feel like I'm taking my time, slowly curating the photos that I want to remember, that I want to capture, and just, yeah, taking my hobbies a bit more slower than what I do. And not everything that I write is going to be shared. Um, a lot of things that I write in my journal will forever live in my journal, and that's the purpose of it. But then there's some articles or essays or things that I think are worth sharing, or that I want to get people's views on as well. I think if there's something I'm good at, that is journaling without the fear of being seen. I've talked about this in another video, but it's just basically writing as if never anyone ever is going to be able to read your journal, even though that might not be true. I think when you fully let go of the fear of being seen, and I fully am aware that this could be a luxury for some people depending on who you live with, but the right to privacy, the right to be able to express yourself as if no one ever will judge you, I think it's the way to journal. I have mentioned this before, but this is my little Midori notebook, and I like to call this my little brain that I carry with me everywhere. And what I've started doing when it comes to my writing that I want to share on Substack, or I don't know, yeah, so far I think the easiest way for me to share my writing is Substack. For like longer term, obviously, would love to write a book. Yeah, what I've been doing is getting my ideas down in terms of essays or topics or things that I want to write deeper about. So, yeah, that's what I've been doing. For example, one of the topics is how I am accepting and embracing bugs while I'm here. But if I see a spider back home, I would flip out. But suddenly, when you're immersed in nature, you kind of don't care. I've also been writing about this old man that is in this resort that I'm in, and just observing him and how slow he lives. I found that really, really beautiful. How even the craziest landscapes become normal when you see it every day. And noise pollution, I think that's a big one that I want to talk about. Missing a place when I haven't left yet, architecture, that everything is built harnessing in harmony with nature, and how they let the trees be free around the buildings. How when we got to the island, honestly, the welcoming sign felt like it was the Burger King sign. Yeah. This is inspired by Hermann Hesse, but just an observation as well while being here, that a lot of people look like they come here for like a spiritual awakening in Asia, but really all you need to do is look inwards. And I think people feel that way here because of how wild nature is compared to home, but you don't need to fly all the way here to get that connection to yourself. Yeah, so that kind of stuff, like topics that come to my mind that at some point I want to write a lot more about. I just write it in my Midori, and then I pick up my Moleskine journal and write about it. And I just set aside some time, like half an hour, 1 hour, and no distractions. It's, I don't know, the flow that you get into, it's honestly hard to stop sometimes. But yeah, this is my little brain. And carrying this around everywhere and writing random thoughts has honestly rewired the way my brain works. I honestly don't use my app notes app anymore. And I find that when you get your thoughts on paper, on a little notebook that you can carry everywhere, or even just your main journal, it's easier to connect thoughts and make sense of yourself. I wrote this article the other day that I will be posting on Substack. So, yeah, follow me there if you want to read my writing. But Yeah, I would love to know maybe some feedback if you read any of the articles, whether that be on the writing style or on the topics that I'm writing about. I would love to know your thoughts. And yeah, I just wanted to make this video to kind of send you a reminder that if you want to be a writer, if you want to be a photographer, if you want to be a creative, a painter, you don't need to make that your full-time job. You can still have a full-time job because it's a necessity. Um, and yeah, not everyone can afford to just leave their job to pursue a creative outlet. I wish I could. Maybe at some point I will, but that's not going to stop me from saying I'm a writer because I write every single day. So yeah, I hope this was a helpful reminder for someone, and I will see you guys in my next video, which also I have been obsessed with this thing. Might become an addiction. Is perfect.